We're learning Be'er Zayin Halacha Hilchos Chametz U'Matzah. The four cases that we drink, one has to make sure they're diluted. They should be shiur. It should be a good, simple drink. Now, the Rambam says that the four that you have to drink, those are the ones that you have to add water to. Today, all wine has water added to it. They should be shiur. So it should be שתייה רבע, הכל לפי היין לפי דעת השויטה. Whether it's according to the taste of the wine or according to the person's desire to drink, how much you should add to it. But altogether from the four, you only had the strongest wines. He used to dilute 3 parts of wine to 1 part of 3 parts of water to 1 part of wine. So if you drank if you drank all of them from wine that was not diluted, so you fulfill the obligation of 4 koises, but that's not the way a free man drinks. If he drank the 4 koises when they were diluted, but he drank them all in one shot, he fulfilled his obligation of cheres because it's diluted, but he drank from every cup, the majority yotza. Machon Nesher cites Psochim as the source of diluting him, if it wasn't diluted, he did not fulfill his obligation. Everything is according to the type of wine and according to the abilities of the person who drinks it. So the Machon Nesher says that this is understandable, and we find in many places. And not all wines are the same. Not everybody likes certain wines. And so Rabbeinu cite the Rambam, and only on their wine that was strong, very, very strong, that they could add 3 times as much water. But our wine does not need to be diluted. When he says that it should not be less than an actual revius, 1/4 of the amount that's strong should be at least a revius. The Machon Nesher cites the Gemara. Shmuel says, these 4 cups, they have to have the ability to be mixed the way it was, meaning 1 part of wine to 3 parts of water. And therefore, you have to have 1 revius, because in the lug there's 4 revius. That's why revius is called a quarter. Rambam explains that since you add 3 parts water, we learned in Halacha Zayin that you have to have a revius in the cup. Therefore, everything in totality, when you drink 4 cups, you'll end up with a revius of wine, even though you drank 3 parts water. Add some brochas. You don't make Peirush HaMeir on a kois. When you do make Hilchos Chametz, unless you place some water in it. Machon Nesher cites the source of this din is if you drank 4 cups from wine that's not diluted, is the Gemara in 108b. If you drank it while it was live, meaning without not diluted, he fulfills his obligation. Amar Rav says, you fulfill your obligation of drinking wine, but not freedom. If you drank them all at once, so they drank wine, but not 4 koises. Machon Nesher says it's talking about they drank all 4 koises separately, but on the order. Rabbeinu explains that he drank all 4 cups in 1 large vessel. So that's the difference whether it means if you drank them one after the other without any Haggadah between them, or Shulchan Aruch between them, or Halal. How much do you have to drink from the cup? If he drank from the whole cup, the majority, he fulfills his obligation. The Machon Nesher cites the source in the Gemara. If he gave to his children and his household, he fulfills his obligation. Amar Nachman says that's if he drank the majority, that he drank the majority of the cup. That means he has to drink the majority. Rabbeinu Menach adds, and we'll turn the page. Afilu, even if the cup could hold more only in revius. He drank the majority, even though that he drank only a majority of a revius. He fulfilled his obligation. That he didn't say that you have to drink everything. And we say the majority of something is like its entirety. That's the rule only by 3 cups. But the first cup of kiddush, he has to drink as much as his mouth will, which is the amount of revius. It's not enough revius. However, a large cup, even if you didn't drink the majority, if you drank a revius, you fulfill your obligation. The Mechaber says, Halacha l'maaseh, you have to drink 4 cups on the order, meaning kiddush, and then nagoda, then benching, and then on hallow. And if you drank one after the other, you do not fulfill your obligation. Mishnah Berurah says, if he spilled them all in 1 cup and he drank them in 1 shot, definitely didn't fulfill his obligation. If he got him, he's not sure. What happens is if he said the Hagoda, he also wasn't Yotze, meaning it has to be 4 cups. In 1 cup, that he drinks from it a revius, and then he says the Hagoda, and then drinks another revius, and he makes and then goes on benching, and all from the same cup. He's not sure that if he fulfilled his obligation because it was all in 1 cup. And certainly, if he drank the 4th cup after the 3rd, he didn't fulfill his obligation, because you need to have it on a certain order. That's why the Seder is called a Seder. There's an order. The Mechaber says the shiur of a cup is revius after you've diluted it. That if he wants to, he can dilute it, and he should drink either the entire cup or the majority. The Mishnah Berurah says that the kohen should have a revius after he diluted it, that you don't need to have wine of revius, but wine together with the water. And he adds, this was in their times that the wines were strong. Today, that they add water, even without dilution, it's fine. And there's no obligation to dilute it to begin with. You should know, if you drink live wine, you have to drink a whole revius, because Chazal did not make a difference in the amounts. Mishnah Berurah continues, you should drink all of it to begin with, or the majority b'diavad. In our places where wine is very expensive, Atchila, it's enough to drink a majority. But a kois, the 4th revius, that's the 4th cup, you should drink all of it, so you can make a brocha achoina according to everyone. The Mechaber says, a kois that's very big, it has a lot of reviusin, you can drink, many people can drink from it, and there's many reviusin that are there. Everyone should drink a revius, and there are those who say you have to drink the majority of the cup, even if it has many revius. Mishnah Berurah says, for la halacha, we say that it's enough if you drink a revius, but still, if a person intends not to drink a lot, he should take a cup that the size that he is able to drink, to be careful to fulfill the obligation according to those who say you have to drink the entirety. Only after the fact, it's enough if you drank the majority. The Ramah says you have to drink the entire amount without a stop. So the Mishnah Berurah says you shouldn't drink more it within a time frame of Kedei Acheles Pras, which is 9 minutes, which is the time you eat 3 eggs according to the Rambam, or 4 eggs according to Rashi. And if you waited longer than that, they do not combine the beginning of the drinking with the end of it. And even b'diavad, after the fact, he did not fulfill his obligation, he has to drink again. To begin with, one should be careful not to wait in the drinking more than the amount of time to drink a revius, because there are those who have the opinion that drinking has a different time frame than eating. Mishnah cites Mekor to the words of the Rambam that if he drank 4 koises from wine that was not diluted, he fulfills his obligation. He doesn't fulfill his obligation of freedom. If he drank 4 koises that were diluted in one after the other, then he fulfilled cherus, but he didn't fulfill 4 cups. And now, it is found in Psochim 108b. If he drank it live, meaning not diluted, so Rabbi says Yidei Yain Yotze, fulfill the obligation of wine, but it's not the way free people drink it. If he drank it in one gulp, Rav says Yain Yotze, aber koises lo Yotze. The Rif explains Yain Chaim means that live wine means that it wasn't diluted, and he explains we drank it with one time. He has the text of Yidei Yain Yotze. He changes Yidei Yain to read Yidei Cherus Yotze. Like the Rambam says here, that he drank it the way it's supposed to be drunk, but not in the order it's supposed to be drunk. The Rambam Brisk cites that Rashi and the Rashbam explain Rava Yidei Cherus Lo Yotze, that the mitzvah is not complete. There's no value only in wine that's diluted, and he did not he did not do the mitzvah as it should be done. So the Ran writes, the Ran adds that he doesn't have to go ahead and drink another 4 cups. The Rashbam and Toys explain that if he drank them as one, meaning in 1 cup, and therefore Yain he fulfilled because he had Simchas Yonted, as the Gemara says, Simchas HaChag b'Yain, the happiness of the Chag is in wine, but the Arba Koises he wasn't Mekayim. That's fine according to the text that they have Yidei Yain Yotze. So the Griz says according to the Rif and the Rambam, Yidei Cherus Yotze, it's talking about that the din of mitzvah of Arba Koises is not because of Simchas Yontif. It has nothing to do with the Simchas Yontif that's being referred to. So the Rabbi Briss asks a question: what's the hezbollah Yotze Yidei Cherus and you didn't keep the 4 cups? How do you have 2 items in the 4 cups? If you didn't keep the mitzvah 4 cups, what does it mean you kept the freedom? Certainly in the ratio when he drank 4 cups, he didn't fulfill cherus. You can explain that the mitzvah 4 cups because he drank 4 different times, but he didn't keep the mitzvah the way it should be accomplished to drink it derech cherus. But in the end, when he says Yidei cherus lo is yoitza, but not arba koises, what did he do? Where does it say you have to drink derech cherus alone as a mitzvah by itself? So the Brisker Rav explains that truly the obligation of 4 koises, there is 2 aspects to it. And besides Toisus, from the Mishnah, you should not give him less than 4 cups, meaning that he doesn't have to give his family, because they can fulfill their obligation through him, like Kiddush on Shabbos, that the head of the household makes Kiddush for everyone. Furthermore, he cites that his father, Chaim Brissotzal, questions Toisus. What does Arba Koises have to do for Kiddush of Shabbos? Kiddush, the mitzvah, is the bracha. And he has to hear that one who hears is as if he answers, and therefore it's enough that he listens. But by the 4 koises, you have to actually drink it, physically so. How can he fulfill the physical aspect of drinking it for his family? And he must be the Toises of the opinion that the 4 cups, the main mitzvah is in the bracha. Like the Rambam explained in Halacha Yud, that on every cup there's a bracha that you have to say. Thus, according to Toises, the bracha of each cup is like Kiddush of Shabbos, and therefore Toises of the opinion that he can make that the Balabayas can moitzi one of the Bnei Beisoy. That's according to the Ashkenaz, that you make a bracha on each cup, but the other bracha you make anyway. So it could be he's referring to the other bracha. Furthermore, besides that Toises says in Sochim, the measure of Maloi Lugmov by a normal person, is the majority of a revius. That he can drink the 4 cups for his children and his family, and he himself should drink the majority. And that means that what's left over he can give to the family. Therefore, Toises are of the opinion that the obligation is what he has to drink the majority of a revius, like by Kiddush. and like every case of bracha, when the Gemara says by 4 cases, the majority of the case, you can't say a special rule that he needs only the majority of the cup, but it's talking about the completeness of his mouth for a normal person, which is a majority of the revi'as. And therefore, somebody who has a large mouth, like Oig Melech HaBoshon, going to Tosfos will have to drink more than a revi'as. So the Griz states that the Rambam disagrees when he says if he drank the majority of the cup, it's Yotzo. He doesn't mention shiur malei lugmo, as we find by Kiddush. Thus we see that the Rambam Roiv Kois, the majority of the cup, is a special din in the cup of the 4 koises. And if the cup is a very large one, you're obligated to drink the majority. It no longer has to do with malei lugmo. And so the Ramban writes that by the 4 koises, the cup that holds the wine, even if it holds many revi'as, you have to drink the majority of the cup, because the shiur is no longer revi'as. And malei lugmo, you're drinking cups, and every cup you have to drink the majority of the cup to be considered the whole cup. And so the Ran writes that B'Kiddush, the amount of taste is the fullness of his mouth. By the 4 cups, only Roiv Kois. Now the Griz writes that according to these Rishonim, the Kiddush and Mishakah shel Brocha, the main thing is the Brocha, and therefore we have to taste it. And how much is taste? 3/4 of a mouth of a revi'as, which fits into a mouth. But by 4 cases, the mitzvah is the drinking of the cup, and therefore we have to drink all of it. But majority is considered like all because we rubo gikuloi, as the Mabach says, and so we find the Rambam. Everyone is obligated to drink on this night 4 cups of wine. The mitzvah is not only the brocha but also the drinking. With this foundation, the Griz explains the Rif in the Rambam. If he drank it in one time, he fulfills chayrus, but 4 cups he wasn't yoitzer. And if he drank wine, which is diluted, he fulfilled the 4 cups, but chayrus lo yotzer, because there are two things that are mentioned that are integral parts of the commandment of 4 cases. And he places his foundation. What the Rambam says, every generation a person is obligated to see as himself as if he left Mitzrayim, and now he's obligated to Egypt. As if he left now his obligations as a servitude to Egypt. And this is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in the Torah, just as if you left now, you were Evan, you went out to Chayrus, and you were redeemed. Therefore, when he is eating at night, he has to eat and drink, and he is meaning, because this has to do with Chayrus. Every individual, both men and women, have to drink at night the 4 cases. And you don't give less than that for either of them, men or women, because the 4 cups is in order that he should see himself as a free man. That's a mitzvah of the Zachalta ki Eved HaYisro. You have to remember that you were a slave. But our Chomim enacted that he can eat and he should also eat and drink in this fashion, and drink the 4 cups b'seibo, to show this aspect of Chayrus. The Griz cites the Mekor to Chayrus in the Gemara Psochim 109a, 4 cases, and Machon said there are Chayrus, that the drinking of them is the mitzvah, to drink 4 cups. However, they have to be Koshel Brocha. Each one has its own Brocha, like we had in Halacha Yud. We will have in Halacha Yud that in every Kosh you should make a Brocha and on a mitzvah. And therefore, when he drank them together, the 4 cups, he was not Yoitza because he didn't drink them on the side of the Brochas. But he fulfilled the concept of drinking the wine. Thus, according to the Rambam, in Abba there's 2 obligations. The drinking of the 4 cups is the first one, to show Chayrus. The second one is the Koshel Brocha, that should be in a specific area of the Seder. Like Tosfos, that the 4 cases, each one has its own Brocha. And it's understood if that's the case, what the Gemara says. If you drank it live, meaning not diluted, you fulfilled Koshel Brocha because you made the Brocha, but Chayrus you didn't fulfill, because drinking it live is not cheres. Vice versa, if you drank it in one time, one after the other, without on each thing being able to make a bracha, you drank the four kaises you did not fulfill, but you had cheres. And thus, the Rambam says, that's why the Rambam says, 4 kaises, these 4 cups, you have to dilute them, so that they should be a drink which is smooth, which is tasteful. Everything is according to the wine, according to the person's taste. That's a special rule in mitzvah shtiyas arba kaises, to keep the din of din cheres. Thus the Griz concludes that in Shuvas HaRosh writes, we find that there is 2 obligations. The obligation of wine, the obligation of 4 cups. And he explains the Gemara. They drank the majority of the cup, it's the obligation of wine. But because of Dalet Kaises, it would be enough if others join him in drinking in each cup. Thus the Rosh explains Yidei Yayin Yotzo, not like the Rashbam. That means for Simos Yontiv, where there's no measure of majority of cup, this is a special law only unique to the 4 kaises. Thus we see that the Rosh is the opinion of the 4 cups. Since every cup has a brocha, you have to have a full mouthful of it, which is a majority of Revi'is, as the Griz explained it in the opinion of the Rambam. The sole difference between the Rosh and the Rambam is that the Rosh has a text, Yidei Yayin Yotzo, the Rambam has the text, Yidei Cheres Yotzo. But even the text of the Rambam can be explained like the Rosh, but the main mitzvah of drinking wine is because of derech cheres, the way a freed man would drink.